Hey everyone, Random Reviews here, and today I'm reviewing the story of King Arthur and His Knights by Howard Pyle. This was the first story form that I've read of King Arthur or anything to do with Arthurian legend, aside from what I have watched in movies or TV shows. This edition was 437 pages long, so it was a little longer, but it was okay. I must say I like longer stories, they last longer. So this one was very informative. It is put into two books. The first part of this edition is the Book of King Arthur, and that deals with King Arthur, so his parentage, the sword and the anvil, and a few things that take place during his reign. The second part of that book has to do with Excalibur and its sheath. I knew what Excalibur was, but I never really knew the underlying things going on with regards to Excalibur, and I never actually heard anything before to do with Excalibur's sheath before, or the underlying themes with that as well. And the third part of the first book deals with Guinevere and how King Arthur won Guinevere to be his queen. Now, believe it or not, when he marries Guinevere, he actually ends up inheriting the Round Table, and I knew what the Round Table was as well, but I was not aware of the special, unique properties to the Round Table, and that was quite interesting. So that was the first part of this one, which was the Book of King Arthur with its three parts. The second book is the Book of Three Worthies, and that deals with the story of Merlin as the first part. Now, I don't mean to completely confuse you guys, but the story of Merlin I originally thought would be like, oh, how Merlin became who he was. No, it's not. It's actually who Merlin was and what took place during Arthur's reign as king. And I must say that was probably I don't want to say the saddest, but it was a very weird story, because I'd always only seen what had been portrayed in movies and TV shows with regards to who Merlin was, but Merlin was actually kind of a creep, if I can say that. He liked beautiful things, pretty things. I'm not going into details, but you also learn of a woman named Vivian, and I'll stop there. So I don't want to give too much away with this story, but I'd never heard about this part with regards to Merlin or with regards to Vivian as well. You also learn about two of the Knights of the Round Table. You learn about Sir Peleus, whose story does involve fae, so the fairies, which was quite interesting to read. And the second one was Sir Gawain. And both of those were very interesting stories to read. I really did enjoy them. With regards to Sir Lancelot, you're probably saying you haven't mentioned anything about him. And that would be because Sir Lancelot's name's only mentioned like 2, maybe 3 times in the complete story. So you really don't learn a lot about him. You actually don't meet him. His name is just mentioned. So hopefully Howard Pyle did, in fact, when he wrote the conclusion, he stated he would like to write another story, and that would involve Sir Lancelot's story. So hopefully he did, because I'm quite interested to read Sir Lancelot's story and Howard Pyle's take on Sir Lancelot's story. I'm not sure if other authors of the Arthurian Legend novels have followed the same storyline that Howard Pyle has taken. Hopefully they have, because I really did enjoy how Howard Pyle had written this story. Another thing with regards to this edition was the fact that it was very well made. This is the Barnes & Noble leather bound edition, and it was well worth the money. It was very stable, very well bound, very nice edition. So that is my review of King Arthur, the story of King Arthur and his Knights by Howard Pyle. If you guys have read any other Arthurian Legend novels or any novels to do with King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, leave a comment with the title and the author, because I'm quite interested to pick up some more Arthurian Legend books and read other authors' take on King Arthur, Camelot, Avalon. Those were mentioned in here as well. King Arthur's court is in Camelot, but there's also this mysterious island named Avalon as well in this, which you only find out because Morgana Le Fay, who is King Arthur's half-sister, which I was not aware of that either, she goes and kind of like banishes herself there. So you do learn about those. So if you have books that maybe deal with Camelot, Avalon, King Arthur, the Knights of the Round Table, I would be more than interested in trying to find them and reading them. So feel free to leave a comment down below with those. I hope you guys liked this review. If you guys have read the story of King Arthur and his Knights, I highly recommend leaving your take on the story. And if you haven't, I highly, highly, highly recommend reading it. I think I've said highly recommend enough now. So that is it for my review, and go and pick up a random book and read. Bye guys.